Hello everyone and welcome to day 3 of ICC Fide rated chess tournament going on in Coimbatore. By the way, this has become my thing now. Hello everyone. I mean first two videos में मैंने ऐसे ही randomly कर दिया but now I'm feeling it. Anyways, guys, for those who don't not seen the first two videos, do watch it if you have like 1 hour of spare time. If you don't want to, I'll just give you a gist of what's going on. After day two, I was on 2 out of 4 after a stunning first day in which I won two on both the rounds in that day. Disaster struck and I lost both the rounds on second day, especially the second day. I mean, the second round on the second day was especially terrible loss. Why? Because I lost a winning end game because I flagged. Um, so yeah, so going into day three, I was feeling low spirits and low energy. Not tournament hopes were still alive, but still I felt a little bit unoptimistic, especially because the opponent was unrated. I was already losing like 15 points around, and and in Coimbatore, the thing about coming to South and play a tournament is that nobody can be underestimated. अनरेटेड 1400 1500 सब बढ़िया खेलते हैं यहाँ पे एंड इट्स नेवर लाइक कि तुम ओपनिंग खेल रहे हो किसी के साथ और तुम्हें पीस मिल गया फ्री का यू हैव टू ग्राइंड इट आउट यू हैव टू आउट कैलकुलेट हिम एंड आउट स्ट्रेटजाइज हिम and it's a good thing in some ways but it's also tiring and when the tournament is not going well it takes a toll on you. So enough said about the context. Let's straight away jump into the game. I was playing black against an unrated player, Bharaniyar. He was also having like 2 on 4. He had defeated I think 200 players before this, and he started with e4. I played my Sicilian c5 and he played c3. Okay, I have already the arrows because I'm re-recording this, but the thing is I was trying to show with these arrows is that in Sicilian, like I said in the last video, if you have not seen it, you don't have to memorize the moves because it's too hard. You have to understand the nuances, right? So when he played c3, I don't know what the move is, what the correct move is. Is it knight f6? Because if you go knight f6, then he'll push e5, knight d5, d4, and this would in fact be a Smith Mora declined kind of variation, right? And if you just a minute, I'll remove these. And if you go d6, then what's the purpose of d6? Like in a normal knight off variation, because if you go d6, then he plays d4, you take, and he has a big center, and you've got nothing to show for it. So realizing that these two moves doesn't work, I thought that okay, why not d5? So when you saw d5, it clicked because the thing is that when he played c3, his knight cannot come out. So in a normal Scandinavian kind of position, what happens is that the queen comes out and it gets kicked multiple times by the knight or the bishop. So in this position, since the pawn is on c3, the knight cannot immediately kick out the queen, and hence you can actually say that d5 is probably the best move, which is the best move, and this which is what I played. After d5 I took with the queen, and now he played correctly d4, striking in the center, and which is a good move. His bishop opens up, both the bishops are ready to move out, his knight is coming out, and this knight, I think if I take, then he would be able to take with the c pawn and get out his knight as well. So I played knight c6, not willing to take, and essentially saying that if you take, you have double pawns. I'm going to take on d1 and ruin your castling rights, and eventually I can easily win this pawn, maybe with e5, or even I would be okay if not taking it immediately. I would play a slow game, maybe play a5 to stop b4, right? He plays bishop e3, threatening d takes c5. I took because I don't want to allow him to take. Even though it ruins his castling rights, I felt it would be a bit troublesome to take the pawn back. He took with the pawn because he doesn't want to part with the bishop pair. And then I played e5 correctly, striking in the center. Why need to strike in the center? Because you need center control, and also if he takes, now I'm ready to take on d1 and then take on e5. Castle right's gone, I have a good bishop, knight's coming out, both bishops are out, I can even castle long if I want to. Now the craziness becomes, this was a crazy game by the way, I'm telling you, my mindset was I was having low energy, low spirits, and this went out crazy. Also saying that before going into the game, I was feeling a bit aggressive. I mean, not angry, but aggressive as in I was feeling like, okay, the tournament is already not in a good shape. So why not try something um, enterprising, something more attacking. So I played queen a5 here after knight c3. My queen was attacked. He took, and I played bishop b4, ignoring the d4 e5 pawn, and which was the best move. Bishop b4. Simply the threat is to take on c3 twice and then threaten the rook if he plays queen d2. He plays queen c2, and here I definitely considered. I spent like about 5 minutes of my time considering bishop f5, but this bishop f5 kind of a what do you call motif comes in the London or some kind of a d4 structure. The idea is basically to deflect the queen from the knight and then take on c3 and take the rook. I could have done that, but I started to see some ghosts यार. मैंने पता नहीं क्या देखा, bishop f5 चला. I saw queen takes f5, bishop c3, b takes c3, queen c3, king e2, and rook queen takes a1. Then I saw some a6, e6, and I felt like यार ये तो king खुल रहा है. If he takes, maybe he'll have some some checks or something, and will my queen be able to come back or something. I don't know. It was not precise calculation, and I wasn't feeling that ambitious or attacking, so I kept it a little bit safe. I played knight e7, developing, ready to get castle, and also preparing bishop f5, which is now protected, which is not a bad move at all. But yeah, bishop f5 was maybe a bit more accurate. He plays knight e2, which was surprising to me because he blocks his own bishop. How is he going to castle now? Maybe he's going to castle long, I don't know. And of course, defending the c3 pawn, that is nice, but still, at what cost, right? So I played bishop f5, which is what I was planning to. And here, as the arrows already say, I was thinking of two candidate moves. One was rook d8, just to make sure that he doesn't castle, and also taking the open d file. And if he brings to contest the d file, I'll just take, and then the queen has to take, and then I castle, and I'll bring the other rook in. Because he cannot castle, I have that advantage of bringing my rooks in first, right, and take the file. But I went for knight e4 with the idea that okay, I'm threatening to take the bishop and double his pawns and weaken the king, also putting some pressure on c3 so that this knight cannot move anywhere if it's wanting to come to e5 and attack, in case I do this and move the c6 knight. So I was keeping some pressure in, and of course he cannot take right now because it's pinned, not even with the queen, because I just take the queen. He goes bishop d2, which I missed in the calculation, but now I played rook d8, simply bringing my pieces in. He played rook d1, and here I was lost as to what to do because he was threatening to go a3, and I have to move the bishop back. I don't even know where, because if I move it here, then he just takes the knight. So it was a kind of a situation, and apparently, if I open the engine, I know what the best move. I remember. I think the best move was to take the pawn. It was a very tough calculation, by the way. Let me think. I was considering some lines with knight b6, maybe bishop e6 and knight c4. Take this bishop, and keep the pin alive. I was going through a lot of variations, but none of them were like panning out. And the immediate threat of a3 was also looming in, so I decided to capture, by the way. But the best move was, let me just quickly switch on the engine. Oh yeah, of course. He was saying, okay, the engine is saying to just castle and bring the other rook slowly because he cannot do anything much. And the idea I saw did see castle, but what I was not okay with was a3. And engine has some crazy lines against a3. I think the line here was knight d3, knight e5, allowing him to take here because of course there's a mate here. And if he does something like knight e5, I go rook e8. If you take here, I go knight d3, and if you go bishop a2, I go knight d3. Anyways, king f1, and somehow play this position. I mean, it's a mess on the board, but I did not see it. I mean, the immediate instinct which I thought after a3 was to move the bishop, and I could not find a good square for the bishop. Anyways, so the game proceeded like this. I took eventually, and I was hoping, not hoping, I was hoping for knight takes. But I was not happy with either of these takes because I don't know what to do. Apparently, bishop takes was also better for me after rook takes rook and castle. Um, but back then, I was just kind of hoping that okay, he takes with the knight, and he did take with the knight surprisingly. And And here I was considering two moves. One was knight d4. बाय द वे जब उसने नाइट से मारा ना और उसने नाइट d4 देखा, उसने चलने के बाद देखा आई गेस, उसके मुंह में ऐसे कुछ अजीब सा चेहरा आ गया था. ओह माय गॉड, व्हाट डिड आई मिस. और जब मैंने क्वीन e5 मारा ना, ही वाज लाइक as some sigh of relief. I was like, but I didn't see anything after knight d4 because it was a complicated line. I knew there was something, but I was not sure, so I didn't play. I did not find anything concrete. I, I'll tell you what I saw. I saw knight d5, queen a4. Otherwise, things are happening, bad things are happening for you. So I thought I'll take, and I go knight c2, king here, bishop d3, and what's happening here? I mean, okay, I thought he'll play here and I'll play here. I did not see that the knight is covering. But even if he goes here, the idea was to just take, and maybe take this, something like this. I think this was the idea. But इतनी calculation हुई नहीं ना. मैंने यही नहीं देखा कि ये यहाँ पे defend है तो यहाँ पे नहीं आ सकता. I thought he'll just keep defending the bishop somehow. Anyways, this shows that maybe some vision problems are there which I need to work on. Maybe a little bit more calculation power is required, right? Need to solve more puzzles. Anyways, he goes knight takes e3. I mean, I go knight takes e3. He does this, and I take on e5 with a check, with a simple idea that okay, if he plays bishop e2 or something, I have knight d5, knight d4. He plays bishop e2, I play knight d4, and he plays queen a4, which I felt was a blunder because I think he had to play queen c4, but even I mean, basically defending this. But even then, I had, I think, rook c8, but I don't know if, I mean, rook c8, I think it's still lost. Let me just quickly check. Yeah, it's -3, but queen c8, queen c4, rook c8. What? He had queen d5. Shit. I did not see this, by the way. I thought rook c8 and the queen has no squares. But he went queen a4, and queen a4 I knew was lost because I had b5, and I thought he'll play maybe queen a6 or something. But if he played queen a6, I would have taken here and taken here. Oh, sorry, not taken here. He would have castled. Okay, something's wrong. Yeah, he would have castled. And because if he takes here, then I just mate him. And yeah, so the idea was basically if he moves the queen, I take on c3, the defender of the bishop, and then I mate him. And if he castles, then I take a lot of pieces. So he played queen a4, I played b5, and he played f5, f4. Kind of logical, attacking the queen. I played queen e6, maintaining all the threats. And the key idea here, if you're wondering, that he cannot take the bishop because of knight c2. Right, so he took the bishop. I played knight c2, I took the queen. And here, I was feeling a little bit tensed. I mean, I wanted to play king e7, okay? I wanted to play king e7 because okay, I'm getting a call, but okay, I'm late, actually getting late for a train, but okay, never mind. I wanted to play king e7 here. Why? Because even if he plays rook e1, I didn't care because I would have taken here, and if he takes here, I would have taken with the bishop with a, I think I was a piece up in that variation, or a rook up, something. But I was like, you, why, man? Let's just keep the queens in. And I was feeling a little bit, कि यार थोड़ा his pieces are more active. And I missed knight c2 here, by the way. Okay, why am I keeping the engines on? Oh my god, I hope the video is not stuck for all this while. Okay, if it was not stuck, I'm glad. But he played here. I'm just quickly recap just in case. This happened. I took his queen. He did this. I played queen d6 and I played bishop d3, trading more pieces. And here I was a bit scared because I don't know what to do. Okay, if I were to move my queen, first of all, if I play something like queen c6, he takes on a7. If I move my queen a little bit too far, he has bishop c5, winning the knight, and there is no entry squares or there is no check, so I don't know what to do. Probably I think knight d3, what I played. Okay, there are other moves as well, but I did play the best move, the knight d3. And he played king e2, and I correctly, I think, took on f4 with the idea that okay, if you come out with the king, then I'll check and pick up your knight, and if you take the knight, then I'll just take, and it's fine for me. The more pieces trade off, the better for me. He played king f3. I did this. I played g5, just making some room for my king, so that my rook can also get developed. He played h4. Now it was all simple. Queen b2, queen f6, rook d1, check, take the rook, take this. He was hoping for one last trick. If I take here, there was bishop h6, winning the queen and losing the game. I mean, I lose the queen and lose the game. Queen g3, and I played this rook g2 and h6. Now it was everything was over because wherever the bishop moves, I play rook g1 and win the game. So yeah, so that was game five, round five of the tournament. Day three, it was again not a pretty smooth win, but I felt good about the way I attacked and the way I approached. I missed maybe a couple things here, but overall I felt good about the game and the way I won. So yeah, I mean that was 3 on 5. So I was 3 on 5 after this round, and I go into the next round feeling a little bit more happier because of two things. One, I won this round, and secondly, because the next round was rated. I think it was a low rated opponent, and I was really looking for blood because I needed my rating points back. I had to somehow at least neutralize it and uh, you know um, at least make sure that the tournament I'm not losing any points. So yeah, I think it was a 1460 some rated game person, and I was playing white, and I played c4. My one of my openings. I mean, not one of my. I think this is my main white opening, the English opening. He played knight f6. For those who don't know, knight f6 is like a kind of a okay, let's see what you play kind of a move. So I have a counter against it. I played knight f3 because the usually idea is that if I play knight c3, no, what do? I think they do d5. No, they play e6. The e plays if they play e6 and go for d5, and since my knight is on c3, no, I'm forced to take and push d4. uh, because if I don't know, if my knight is not on c3, I don't want to take, and I want to take because d4 is a kind of a d4 kind of structure ना, तो मुझे उसमें transpose नहीं करना होता. I want to play g3 and I want to do all those things. So for that reason, uh, I I did that, but okay, this was fine. I played knight f3. He played e6. I played g3. He played d5, which is all standard. Standard as in basically hitting the center. It's kind of a QGD kind of setup against the English as well. It is pretty effective, by the way. If you're playing against the English, then this is one of the strong setups against the English. So he plays c6, which was a bit inaccurate. I feel usually you play for b6 and then c5 maybe in these lines, but okay, c6 is also playable. It's not blunder or anything. He played bishop e7. So if you're playing the English, just give me 1 second. Someone is calling me like repeatedly. Just 1 minute. Okay, I'm back. Is it recording? Yeah. So yeah, so I played d4. Basically d4 idea is just to take the center and also not allow his push because he was actually now threatening to push this and maybe push this eventually. I don't want to give him that much space, so I played d4. I played queen c2. Nice move. Why did I play queen c2? It's basically maybe eventually trying for e4, and also there was another purpose to this. mm, yeah, if he takes on c4, then I can take. Yeah, he did take on c4, which was surprising. People usually don't do that. And he plays knight d7. I played knight c3, just developing. I was expecting knight b6. I played queen b3. So here I had two options, queen d3 or queen b3. I neglected queen b3 due to one reason, which was really important. I'm forgetting the minor detail. I think there was some reason where I did not want to play queen d3. I think it's because of the fact that eventually I want to play e4, and the moment I play e4, he might have c5, because then I won't be able to take because my queen would be hanging here. So some minute details. So I preferred queen b3, which was actually the best move. He played bishop d7. I played rook d1, and then a5. A5 was actually, I felt, a good move, and usually people would be tempted to go a4 here, but I think the key thing to understand, both a4 and a3 are good. I played a3. Why? Because it's a preference of style, I think, because a3 is something which I would go for. Okay, a4 is not showing right now because if you play a4, no, you just give up the square and the bishop would just come and sit here and harass you. So I wanted to play a4, simply saying that if you push a4, I play queen c2, and I'm fine totally, because it's a permanent weakness in the future. Two of my pieces are already attacking. Your knight would be stuck, your rook would be stuck, and I anyways wanted to play my queen to c2 because I want to play e4. He did play a4, I played queen c2, and he played c5. I was surprised to see this because his bishop is in the center, which is being pinned. My rook is already active, and he was ready to open up the center. Why? So he did this. I took on c5. Um, yeah, he took on c5, and then I played knight e5. Oh, what a perfect move. Basically, see, in English, you have to understand that this bishop is your precious gem. इसको नहीं देना. For this bishop, you can also always sometimes give up this your exchange. For example, not in this position, but in general, you can just take rook takes bishop, light square bishop in these positions if your bishop is like working good. क्योंकि ये जो bishop होता है ना long diagonal वाला, it is very very important. तो इसने ये चला. अब मेरा पॉइंट ये था 95 का कि जस्ट टू कीप दिस बिशप ट्रैप्ड. इसको कभी भी मैं मार दूंगा इफ इट्स ट्राइंग टू एस्केप, बट फॉर नाउ लेट्स कीप इट ट्रैप्ड. आई प्लेड बिशप g5, बेसिकली ट्राइंग टू रूइन द स्ट्रक्चर. दीज आर ऑल परफेक्ट एक्यूरेट से खेल रहा था भाई मैं. इतनी परफेक्ट एक्यूरेसी थी इन सब में. तो आई मीन लेटर ऑन चेक्ड विद इंजन, सो इट वाज ऑल गुड. Bishop e7, rook c1. Actually, this game was one of the perfect games I played in a long time. I mean, बहुत अच्छी game थी because not to self brag, but yeah, it was good. See, rook c1, just developing and bringing the pieces to center, and he brought rook d8, and I took. Maybe this was one move which was inaccurate. Engine was saying queen b1, which was something I was considering, but I thought I was not happy with something. I think maybe 95 or something after queen b1. Uh, no, no, no. After queen b1, I thought he'll play bishop e8 and the bishop will escape. So I was not happy with that. So I took the bishop, saying basically that b7 is a long-term weakness, a5 is a long-term weakness, a4 is a long-term weakness, and any endgame would be better for me if you trade pieces. And I was happy to trade pieces. I took the rook. He took with the knight, which was a critical blunder according to me. And I missed the winning move, by the way, here. And I played something else, but that was also equally, not equally, but somewhat good. I played queen d1 with the idea that, okay, now I'm threatening to take on a4. Your queen is hanging. If you move the queen, I take on a4. But there was a stunning move here. If you want to pause the video like everybody does, you can pause the video and check the move. And if you just want to enjoy the show, the move was knight d5. Smith Morrow players and my beloved friend Nimang would love this move because he plays knight d5 all the time. Knight d5 in the face, because if you take with the knight, I take your queen and it's a back rank issue. I mean, at least I'm winning the rook. And if you take my queen, I take e7 with check and then take your queen. I missed this simple tactic. Apart from this, I promise the game was perfect. Okay, I played queen d1, which was equally nice. Not equally nice, but it was okay. Fine. And I won a pawn. He played queen a7. And I brought my knight back. And here he played knight g4. And for a second, I was like, what? What is happening now? Oh my god, everything is hanging. Chaos over the... See, I told you, na, 1400 ho, unrated ho, थोड़ा simple games नहीं मिलती. Knight g4, my bishop is hanging. His bishop is hanging. His queen is hanging. I mean, his knight is hanging. And, you know, f2 pawn is hanging. यहाँ से f2 आ रहा है. पता नहीं क्या क्या हो रहा है. समझ ही नहीं आ रहा. There were so many crazy lines here that you had to calculate all of it. Okay, and I'll show you a few of them. One was, if I take the bishop, I'm lost, I think, because of knight f2. Not even queen f2, because queen f2 maybe I just go in. Knight f2, because knight f2 के बाद मैं करूँ क्या? My queen is attacked. If I move my queen anywhere, then there is this smothered mate kind of ideas. And, maybe... queen e1? Oh, queen e1, there's knight d3 check, right? Knight d3 and winning the queen. So, इतनी सारी crazy चीज़ें हो रही थी. Oh my god, PC stuck हो गया. PC stuck हो गया guys, sorry. Oh my god, रुको. Just a minute. Yeah, it is back. अबे क्या हो रहा है ये? हाँ, ठीक है. Oh man, my PC is getting stuck. Anyways, let me just quickly go through the game. Oh no, that was a spoiler, I guess. Anyways, I took the pawn. He went queen a7. I went back knight c3, went knight g4, and after tremendous calculation, I played the move e3. It was with the idea that if you take the bishop, I take your knight, and we are equal pieces, and I'm a pawn up in the endgame. That's fine with me. And your knight, both your knights are hanging basically, and there is no sacrifices on e3. You have to calculate, by the way, that bishop g4, um, queen g4 and bishop e3 something. That's not working, but something, yeah, you had to calculate. Maybe there was something I had to calculate. Maybe knight e3 was the move. Oh, not knight e3. Oh yeah, he played this. Yeah, actually he played knight f2, which was again a surprise for me. I did not calculate this. And here I had to calculate some things, a lot of lines, accurately, because one mistake and you're lost. Again, the knight is hanging, the bishop is hanging, this knight is hanging. He gave me three pieces and told me to choose, and I chose correctly. I took this knight. I took this knight with the superb idea that okay, first my knight queen was hanging. I had to move my queen, right? And uska simple idea ye tha, which I think what he calculated, that uh, if I move the queen somewhere anywhere, or if I take the knight, basically he takes my bishop, and there is humongous pressure on e3, right? And if I take the queen, obviously there is queen e3 and I'm getting mated. But the move which I saw correctly was queen d7. After queen d7, he took my bishop with the idea that okay, queen takes e6 is coming and knight h3. I don't know, crazy stuffs are coming. But I correctly played the move knight b5, attacking the queen, and at the same time threatening rook c8, back rank issues in the face. And I'm talking like a sermon right now. But okay, he played queen a5. I was expecting queen b6, but queen, it turned out to be the same thing. I played b4 and he played queen b6. And here I saw the winning idea already when I played queen takes d7 here. And the idea is simply rook c8, takes, and bishop d8. The point is that the bishop is no longer threatening e6. So I can happily take the knight on f2 because there is no pressure on e3. Now everything is fine. The bishop is pinned. The queen is stuck to the queen's bishop. He cannot even take the knight because the bishop is hanging. He played g6, but now it was too late. I forced a queen trade with queen b7. Queen takes b7 and bishop b7. Afterwards also he played a bit. He brought his king and he sacrificed his bishop for the a pawn. Some things happened, but I'm not going to go into the details because after this the conversion is pretty simple. Because you're a piece up, you have two passers. If you lose this, then you're a worse endgame player than me because I messed up not a similar one, but at least a winning endgame like this. So on that note, day 3 is completed. Actually, day 4 is also completed while I'm recording this, but for you, day 3 is only completed. I'll come with another video about day 4 and तब तुम देखना कि क्या हुआ फाइनल में. So 3 दिन के बाद I'm at 4-on-6. Tournament hopes are still alive. If I win the 2 games tomorrow, I mean, for you tomorrow, then I will get a prize. 6-on-8 is definitely some prize, but there are a lot of people, 700 people in this tournament, so I'm not really sure. But let's see. And until next time, until the next video, see you all. Take care. Hope you liked the video, and if you did or did not, do hit the like button and subscribe button because it does not cost यार, पैसे थोड़ी लगते हैं, and it just takes like a second. And yeah, just do it, man. Just do it, okay? I don't want to ask again and again. देखिए हर वीडियो में बोलूँगा अच्छा थोड़ी लगेगा यार, है ना? So yeah, on that note, bye bye, tada, see you. And with my, this thing action, I take sign off and see you again next time. Bye bye.